Hello, everybody. Hi, hello. You do a little talkie about Chen in the 7.31c. Uh, because when the patch came out, I was like, "Oh, it's Jover. Everything's cooked." Like they added they got rid of the converts. They added the zealot, which doesn't feel as good, and it still doesn't feel that great. I find myself in lane either sending them to harass somebody. They do about like 20 damage at the low level, and like mostly sacrificing them to then heal myself or my teammate, which, you know, if you hit someone with a divine favor, that's 5% heal amp, and then later on that's 20% heal amp. So like the martyrdom as a heal is alright. I mean, especially as you get later on, because not only do the creeps get stronger, but you get the level 20 talent that gives you extra minimum HP for the zealots, as well as all your other creeps. So it's okay. I find it's mostly useful later on in using it as just another creep on the map. Like if we think they're gonna do Roche soon, I'll just put the zealot in the Roche pit, or I'll send the zealot as just a disposable unit to then like scout the bounty rune, or not the bounty rune, the power rune, scout high ground, whatever, go pull a creep wave towards my like mid laner who's like farming the triangle so they can farm like a camp and the wave at the same time. Like it's useful. It's nice to have a disposable unit. It's like playing Enchantress, where like you get to use these creeps more aggressively because they're gonna die at some point, and the fact that you just have this on cooldown. It would be nice, personally, if I was just some quality of life, if the zealot was maybe a bit stronger, it had a longer cooldown, but instead of it just respawning whenever it wants, it was like the old convert where you can click the button to respawn it. That way I can like use it when I want it, instead of just always having this other guy following me around that I have to deal with. But otherwise, it's fine. Chen is actually still in a really good spot. I think like stats wise, oh that's my stats. Stats wise, Chen is like pretty good win rate, like 55% win rate. That's kind of crazy for a support. And like I still play them, but I'm only around about like high Crusader late Archon right now, which is an improvement from me being a Herald Gen player. But basically, Chen is still in a pretty good spot because he still buys auras. I'm finding a lot more offlaners that I'm playing with aren't actually being aura buyer offlaners. They're just playing greedy, and they're playing to be like essentially another mid laner or another pos 1. But that might just be, you know, low rank stuff. So being able to be a support who can also farm pretty quickly on my own, and just be like, don't worry, you don't need to feel like you're buying Greaves or Pipe, I'm getting Greaves and Pipe, and that feels nice. Although the Aghanim Scepter that they've had for a while now, but it's been kind of hard to use because, well, it's hard to... You can farm pretty efficiently on Chen, but you want to use that farm to buy like aura items and stuff that affects your like army and allows you to like tempo. So you're never really looking to play late game as Chen. You're trying to close out the game early and like play for the tempo. But the fact that the Ag Scepter exists actually means that Chen is actually in a good spot when it comes to late game. Or even if you're playing Turbo, if you're one of the rare Chen Turbo people, I don't know. It's not that great, you know. Your window of power kind of disappears in a span of like 5 seconds. But basically, early game, you want to get your Greaves as soon as possible. If you've got a teammate who's really adamant on also building Greaves instead, like maybe you got like a Snapfire or a Razor or something like that, then you can go like Drum. Drum got a bit nerfed. It doesn't give intelligence anymore, which sucks. It gives health regen, but not even that much health regen. Also, the fact that Drum builds from the headdress means that early laning stage, like according to my guide, Noob's Guide to Chen, I actually got like 10,000 total games now. Yippee! Using standard good starting items, get brown boots. Arcane boots are like way more expensive now. They're 1,500 gold, which is a lot, and they're not even like that good. So most of the time now I'm getting brown boots, I'm getting like raindrops, I'm getting a Bassy, and then I'm just buying clarities. And then maybe I'm like also upgrading this circle into a null talisman so I can get the mana regen, which is like more gold efficient. But then the problem is you're like, okay, I want some more speed and I've got an extra slot, so I'm going to buy a windlace. And one of my teammates is buying Groove, so I'm going to buy Drum. So I'm going to start building Drum. Okay, let's get Headdress. Let's buy the Ring of Regen. Oh fuck, I've got Tranquil Boots now. Like the brown boots and the windlace and the Ring of Regen have assembled, and you have to quickly like, oh fuck, disassemble quickly before it counts down. Yeah, so if you're doing that strat and you're buying a brown boots and you're getting a Bassy but you're not combining just yet, and then you get a windlace, make sure you lock combining on the windlace. I actually wrote that on this little bit here. Yeah, so Arcane, like, Greaves is still a good way to build, but I'm strangely buying like brown boots and then Bassy, and then sometimes I might just go start building mech right after I get like a windlace, and then buying Clarity, just because buying that like Hat of Wizardry, Wizard Hat, sorry, it just doesn't feel good to buy. It's 250 gold from straight mana, which just feels useless to have. And the recipe's kind of expensive. I think I'd rather just the recipe be a little bit more expensive instead of having to buy the wizard hat, because I want to have a bunch of extra small items. Not only could I buy like an early headdress that I can build into the mech, or an early buckler that I can build into Vlad's, which gives me a nice aura. I'm also buying like wards and blood grenades and fairy fires and clarities and smokes, and suddenly my inventory is full, and then I have to pick up a lotus, and then maybe I get that one tier 1 neutral item where I get to forage stuff, and I can't because my inventory is full of crap. Oh, especially if I'm also building like Solar Crest, because Pavis, holy fuck, Pavis is kind of a nightmare to build, like just a lot of slots. Anyway, complaints over. What I wanted to mainly talk about is that Chen feels pretty good later into the game, while Chen was before kind of bad when it was one of those things where like you fully invested into winning the early game, and then if you didn't, Chen kind of fell off pretty quickly, and like you know you're still pretty good. You can farm on your own, and the map is bigger, so everyone has space to farm, unless you have like, I don't know, a Meepo and a Tinker and an Alchemist. Like most of the time you have space to farm, in which case you've got first pick priority anyway as Chen. So skill issue on their part if they're picking those carries. So you can get like really good efficient aura items like a Greaves Solar Crest Flats here as like an example. And late game you can pick up some creeps. You can get like the Cobalt Foreman for the speed aura, you can get the Centaur Corsair for the magic resistance. Like you've still got really good auras, it's just those creeps might just die really quickly, especially if the enemy team picks like an Earthshaker or something like that. But I have a strategy that makes Chen pretty good in the late game, and it's kind of funny. I call it the white hole, you know, because like Enigma has like the black hole and it goes and it stuns everybody, but Chen has got Hand of God, which is all holy magic and stuff, and it's not quite white, but it's close enough. It's holy, like the icon of it is white. You get it. So like the idea is that enemy does a big CC. Oh fuck. Wait, ignore that part. This is what would actually happen in the game because I don't have reaction time. I BKB, they do this, I do this. Oh, never mind. Because when I'm using Aghanim Scepter and you're standing in the radius of the Hand of God, they're debuff immune. And when I have the level 25 talent, this one here, it applies a stronger spell. So, assuming I'm quick enough to do this before they do this, I can counterspell their CC with this. And especially since they made it so you can't refresh or BKB anymore, this lets you have multiple BKBs on teammates who otherwise would only have one BKB. Because you BKB, they ult, you ult to dispel, they have this Hand of God debuff effect. After that's finished, you can refresh a orb, do it again, although, you know, your BKB will be run out and this effect doesn't apply to you, only applies to your teammates, so they can still stun you. But if in that theoretical circumstance, even in just the first circumstance, you're giving your teammates 2 BKBs, and in the second one, after the refresher orb, if you're not punished for it, you're giving your teammates 3 BKBs worth of like status immunity, which is kind of crazy. So like the plan is that like after you get like your Grief solo crest like Vlad, you can then start building your Ag Scepter. You know, you also get your Shard too, but maybe hope for the Tormentor. And yeah, you end up becoming like a Shadow Demon or a Ringmaster type character where you're just like now hiding in the side. Oh, hello. I didn't actually know Roshan was here. Hey. You now are hiding in the sidelines and you're like waiting into Blink to do your big save ability to like give everyone like debuff immune and this heal effect. And this makes me think, I know why they made it so you can't use the Zealots to like grab creeps, because in the original patch notes before they redacted it, they made it so like you could use Holy Persuasion on a melee creep and turn them into a Zealot creep so you have more Zealots. I know why they redacted that now. It's because I feel like Chen would be a really, like he's already really strong as a support, but I feel like he'd actually be a really strong offlane. Like, we already had like the scenario of Largo coming out and everyone being like, this guy looks like an easy pos 5, and then he became like an offlane. I feel like in this patch, if you could just renewably get Zealots like from creeps, like at the moment you can't do that. If I were to use Holy Persuasion here, it just gives me a regular creep. But in the patch notes initially it said that you could create new Zealots by grabbing creeps. I feel like if that feature came to pass, Chen would be a valid offlane. Like, you'd start with Holy Persuasion, you'd still max it, but then you'd like it wouldn't do the weird awkward thing of getting Penitence and then Divine Favor and then Holy Persuasion because of people like understandably blocking all your camps because you're playing the creep hero. But now you can actually like grab creeps and then use those to like last it and trade with people, and you would become kind of like the anti-Enigma, where you're this like offlaner who can use creeps to like last it and be annoying in lane. And then you have your ultimate that instead of CCing everybody, it like anti-CCs everybody. I mean, provided you get the talents and stuff, but still, with the Aghanim Scepter it applies the BKB effect, but with the talent it can dispel an active like CC effect. But also I was just thinking, like, if you're an offlaner, not only are you already a great aura buyer, but you could buy like Shivas and like, sorry, that was a cough. You could buy like Shivas. That would make your aura even bigger. Look at this. That being said, I still think he's probably better off as a support. But I'd like to imagine the alternate scenario where we have offlane Chen back again. Offlane Chen actually was a cheese that you could do back before when you could grab range creeps with level 1 Holy Persuasion. In fact, like mid Chen was like a more common thing. It's like a cheese. It's kind of like mid Enchantress where you max Q and you're like really annoying with like hitting people. It's more of just a cheese, a knowledge check. But then they made it so range creeps were like level 2 by default. Or like, yeah, level 5 by default. So you needed to have where is it? Creep max level. Yeah, you need like, see, it says creep max level 3, 4, 5, 6. So you need to have a level 3 Holy Persuasion before you could grab a range creep instead of just being able to grab it at level 1. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Mainly just the theoretical, like the white hole, just being able to be like and like save the day. I've yet to see this happen in the pro game, but assuming Chen stays at his trend of 55% win rate, and we get more Chen picks in the international, which is something I always like to see, it would be very cool to have like an epic moment. Not that. It'd be cool to have an epic moment. This just dispels and they immediately start fighting again. They're like, oh, let's go. Refresh. Let's go again. I don't know, I think that'd be really sick, but I'm also just weird. Anyway, thanks, bye. I love you.